There are two types of people in this world: those who speak to fill the silence, and those who let the silence speak for them. You have seen this your entire life. You walk into a room and watch someone frantically explaining themselves, defending their choices, justifying their existence. And you watch someone else, calm, unmoved, saying nothing, while everyone leans in to hear what they might say next. One person is begging for permission to exist. The other already knows they don't need it. Here is the truth that no one will tell you. Every word you use to defend yourself is a confession of insecurity. Every explanation is an admission that you believe someone else has the authority to judge you. You have been conditioned to think that silence is weakness, that not responding makes you look guilty, that you must always correct the record. You are wrong. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire for 19 years, not through speeches, not through grand declarations, but through the quiet force of a mind that could not be shaken. While lesser men screamed to be heard, he wrote in private, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This was not advice, this was warfare. The Stoics understood something modern society has forgotten. The moment you justify yourself, you place yourself beneath the person demanding justification. You accept their frame. You step into their courtroom and hand them the gavel. But what if there is no courtroom? What if the only judge that matters is the one inside your own mind? The Stoics called this internal sovereignty, the refusal to let external voices dictate your internal reality. Today we are going to explore the unspoken law that separates the powerful from the powerless, the silent principle that Marcus Aurelius used to command armies without raising his voice. By the end of this, you will understand why the less you say, the more weight your words carry, why the refusal to engage is the most devastating response, why silence is not absence, it is dominance. But I must warn you, this path requires you to abandon the need to be liked, to be understood, to be validated. If you cannot let go of that need, turn back now, because once you see how the game is played, you can never unsee it. Most people are addicted to validation. They live in a constant state of explanation, justifying why they were late, why they said that thing, why they made that choice. They are performing for an invisible audience of judges who they have appointed without realizing it. You see it everywhere. The employee who spends 10 minutes explaining why the project is delayed, instead of just saying, "It will be ready Monday." The friend who cannot accept a compliment without immediately downplaying it. "Oh, this old thing? It was on sale. I look terrible in it actually." The partner who, when accused of something, spirals into a defensive rant that makes them look more guilty than if they had said nothing. This is the disease of the modern mind, the belief that your worth is determined by consensus, that enough people understand you, approve of you, see your intentions, then you are safe. But Marcus Aurelius knew you have power over your mind, not outside events. The moment you hand someone else the power to validate you, you have given them the power to destroy you. Because validation is a drug, and the dealer always controls the addict. When you explain yourself, you are asking for permission. Permission to be right, permission to exist as you are, permission to take up space. But here is what the Stoics discovered 2,000 years ago. No one can give you that permission, and anyone who demands you ask for it is testing whether you know that. Let me show you what happens on a neurological level when you refuse to justify yourself. Imagine this scenario. You are in a meeting. Someone challenges your decision. That strategy makes no sense. What were you thinking? The room goes quiet. Everyone looks at you. Your heart rate spikes. Your amygdala, the primal fear center of your brain, screams, defend, explain, prove you are not stupid. The old you would launch into a detailed explanation, data points, logic chains, justifications, and with every word you would be hemorrhaging status. Now imagine the Stoic response. You look at them, your face reveals nothing. You pause, 3 seconds, 4, 5. Then you say very calmly, "That's one perspective," and you return to your notes. What just happened? You refused to accept the premise of their attack. You did not engage with the content. You acknowledged the sound they made without validating it as worthy of a response. In that silence, their brain goes into panic mode. Humans are wired for reciprocity. When someone speaks to you, your brain expects you to speak back. It is a social contract that existed since we lived in caves. When you break that contract, you create cognitive dissonance. Their subconscious mind starts asking questions. Why isn't he defending himself? Why does he know something I don't? Is my criticism actually valid, or did I just make a fool of myself? Silence is not passive, it is a mirror, and when people look into it, they see their own insecurity reflected back. Epictetus, the Stoic who was born a slave and became one of the most influential philosophers in history, said, "If someone succeeds in provoking you, realize that your mind is complicit in the provocation. They cannot make you respond, they can only test whether you will. And when you do not, when you hold the silence like a weapon, you prove something that terrifies manipulators. You do not need their approval to know who you are."
Let's get tactical. There are 3 levels of non-response, and you need to know when to deploy each one. Level 1, the neutral acknowledgement. This is when someone says something designed to provoke you, but you simply acknowledge it without agreeing or disagreeing. Them, "You always do this. You never listen." You, "I hear you." That's it. No defense, no counter-argument, no explanation. "I hear you" is not an agreement. It is a statement of fact. You heard the sounds that came out of their mouth. What you do with those sounds is your business, not theirs. This technique neutralizes the attack without giving them ammunition. They wanted you to fight. You refused to enter the ring. Level 2, the reflective question. This is when you flip the script by turning their accusation into an observation about them. Them, "Why are you always so secretive? What are you hiding?" Defensive response, "I'm not secretive, I just value my privacy, and if you actually trusted me, you wouldn't be..." You have already lost. Stoic response, "What makes you feel entitled to know everything I think?" Notice what just happened. You are no longer defending your secrecy, you are examining their need to invade it. You have become the observer, they have become the observed. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury." They want chaos, you offer clarity. They want you reactive, you become reflective. Level 3, the void. This is the nuclear option, pure silence. Someone accuses you, insults you, tries to bait you into a fight. You look at them. Your face is stone. Your eyes hold theirs for 2 seconds longer than is comfortable, and then you turn away. You resume whatever you were doing, as if they are a passing cloud, as if they do not exist. This is not ignoring them. Ignoring implies you heard them and chose not to respond. This is erasing them from relevance. It says, "Your words do not even register as important enough to acknowledge." This will infuriate them. Good. Their fury is proof of your power. Because the only people who get angry when you do not respond are people who need your response to feel significant. Now here is where it gets paradoxical. Sometimes the most powerful response is not silence, it is agreement. But not the agreement of submission, the agreement of someone so secure that your insult cannot land. Imagine someone says, "You're arrogant." Weak response, "No, I'm not. I'm actually really humble if you got to know me." Stoic response, "Sometimes, yes." Full stop. No elaboration, no justification. What did you just do? You agreed with the part that might be true without accepting their emotional framing. You owned the trait without treating it as shameful. This is the Stoic principle of amor fati. Love your fate. Love even your flaws. Because the moment you accept them, no one can weaponize them against you. Seneca wrote, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive." Translated, if you fear judgment, you will never do anything worthy of respect. When someone calls you selfish, cold, obsessive, arrogant, and you say, "Sometimes, yes," you rob them of the weapon. They wanted shame, you gave them indifference. They wanted you to defend your character. You proved you do not need to. Here's another example. Them, you don't care about anyone but yourself. Weak, that's not true. I do so much for people and you never. Stoic, I care about the people I choose to care about. See the difference? You did not deny it. You reframed it. You made it a choice, not a flaw. This is the difference between defending yourself and defining yourself. Defending yourself means you accept their definition and argue against it. Defining yourself means you provide your own frame and they can take it or leave it. One makes you a defendant, the other makes you a king. Let me tell you the secret that will change everything. The courtroom does not exist. Every time you defend yourself, you are stepping into an imaginary trial where the other person has appointed themselves judge. You stand in the defendant's box, you present your evidence, you wait for the verdict. But here is the truth. They have no authority. They never did. The only power they have is the power you give them by showing up to the trial. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire, yet he wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Read that again. Your estimate of it. You are the one who decided their opinion matters. You are the one who elevated their words to the status of judgment. The Stoics practiced an exercise called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. They would imagine the worst possible accusation, the harshest insult, the most devastating criticism. And then they would ask themselves, if this were true, would I still be me? If someone calls you a failure and you have already accepted that you have failed at things, where is the sting? If someone calls you cold and you have already acknowledged that you do not feel warmth for people who drain you, where is the injury? The accusation only hurts if you secretly fear it might be true and you have not yet made peace with it. This is the shadow work the Stoics did daily. They walked through their own darkness until there was nothing left in the shadows that could be used against them. Carl Jung, 2,000 years later, would call this integrating the shadow. The Stoics called it knowing thyself. When you know yourself, your flaws, your limits, your darkness, no one can expose you because there is nothing left to expose. You cannot shame a man who has already accepted himself.
Here is the trap most people fall into. They think that if they just explain it clearly enough, the other person will understand and the conflict will end. If I can just show them the emails, they will see I was right. If I can just explain my reasoning, they will stop being angry. If I can just defend my intentions, they will finally get it. No, they won't. Because the attack was never about the facts. It was about power. They did not accuse you because they wanted the truth. They accused you because they wanted to see if you would flinch. And you flinched. Every word you speak in defense is proof that you care what they think, that you need them to see you a certain way, that your internal stability depends on their approval. And once they know that, they own you. Machiavelli, who the Stoics would have found ruthless but not wrong, understood this. Men judge generally more by the eye than by the hand, for everyone can see, but few can feel. Translation: people do not judge you by your explanations. They judge you by how you carry yourself when accused. Do you scramble? Do you justify? Do you plead? Or do you stand there unmoved, as if their words are rain and you are stone? The Stoic emperor understood this. In his meditations, he wrote, "How much more grievous are the consequences of anger than the causes of it? Your reaction is always more damaging than the accusation. If someone calls you incompetent and you spiral into a defensive rant, everyone watching thinks maybe they are right. Look how rattled he is. If someone calls you incompetent and you say, noted, and move on, everyone watching thinks, damn, that did not even touch him." So here is your challenge. For the next 7 days, you are going to practice what the Stoics called the discipline of assent, the refusal to give your agreement to external impressions. Here are the rules. Rule 1. No justifications. If you are late, you do not explain why. You say, "I'm late." That's it. If someone asks why, you say, "Does it matter?" Or you say nothing at all. Rule 2. No defending your character. If someone calls you selfish, cold, arrogant, or anything else, you do not argue. You either agree with the part that is true, or you say, "That's your perception." Then you move on. Rule 3. No explaining your choices. If someone questions your decision, you do not walk them through your reasoning unless they are your superior and it is literally their job to evaluate you. For everyone else, your decision is your own. You say, "This is what I am doing," and that is the end of the discussion. This will feel uncomfortable. It will feel rude. It will feel like you are being cold or dismissive. Good. That discomfort is your ego dying. That feeling of rudeness is your conditioning breaking. That sense of coldness is your boundaries forming. Watch what happens. Watch how the people who were used to you explaining yourself suddenly do not know how to deal with you. Watch how the ones who respected you before respect you even more now. Watch how manipulators lose interest because you are no longer fun to play with. You are not being a void because you are cruel. You are being a void because you have realized that your energy is finite and not everyone deserves access to it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. Everything you need to be whole is already inside you. The approval of others is not on that list. When you stop performing for their validation, you stop being their puppet. You become the hand that moves the pieces. If this resonates with the part of you that is exhausted from explaining yourself, the part of you that is tired of defending yourself, the part of you that knows deep down that you do not owe the world a justification for your existence, then you know what to do. Subscribe, not because I asked you to, but because you have decided that you are done performing for approval. Because you have realized that the Stoics were right. The only opinion that matters is the one you hold of yourself. Because you understand that silence is not weakness, it is sovereignty.